First of all, I will show you a small movie as a prelude. I would like to introduce some of my work and then share my design philosophy with you. I recently drew this manga for the design magazine Axis. This is a typical Japanese style cartoon. When I was a university student, I always believed I was going to be a comic artist. I drew manga night and day, but at the same time, I also fascinated by mechanical engineering. I had the industrial design when I was looking for a job or just before graduating. Industrial design seems to me as if it was a contact point between manga and engineering. This is an initial sketch of an Infinity Q45. I drew this when I was 27 years old, working as a young designer at Nissan Motor Company. At the Nissan Design Center, I learned everything about styling, drawing, sculpturing, and coloring. As at university, I had graduated from an engineering course. Nissan was a great design school for me. This camera is the first work I did as a freelance designer after leaving Nissan in 1987. Thankfully, this camera was a great success. It was exhibited at many museums throughout the world, in New York, in Paris, and in London. Next is another camera I designed for Olympus. The camera's name, Ephyra, is a French translation of unbleached white. It was awarded Best of Best at Germany's Innovative Design, which is now known as the Red Dot Award. Then I designed wristwatches for Seiko or for Issey Miyake, and some electric appliances, another camera, robotic cleaner, video recorder, and some furniture. This is a prototype of keyboard for typing Japanese. Typing can be done using both thumbs, just like game controller. And I designed some mobile phones recently. This is a set of kitchen tools, which I designed for OXO International, a very well-known company in the US. These kitchen tools were designed originally for the Japanese market, but became successful product not only in Japan, but also in the world market. They received the Japan Good Design Award Gold Prize in 2006. This is a wristwatch, which with a special face just released last year. Instead of having two hands radiating from the center, this wristwatch had two hands from the outside. I designed this style as a fluid metal creature on one's wrist and spreads its tentacles, which grip tightly. Also, I designed the structure of hands to realize this unique face. While I was designing these products for other companies, my design team developed several research projects. In order to cast newborn technologies into shapes, we intentionally work not only the aesthetic of them, but also the actual component circuit board and the software. I'm especially fascinated with robot projects because the contact point of science and art can actually be found when making robots. From a point of technical view, robotics is just a synthesis of mechanical engineering and software engineering through biomimicry approach. At the same time, if you consider robot as human-machine communication, robotics is a kind of art. Cyclops. Cyclops is an exploratory study to seek the future relationship between human and robot. It has built-in video camera and was programmed to respond to a person's movement. Thanks to special spherical joint in its metal spine and artificial muscle driven by air pressure, Cyclops is able to gently swivel and bend its torso, giving it an uncannily lifelike appearance. It was exhibited at the Expo 2005 in Japan and also exhibited at the Ars Electronics Center in Linz. I designed a humanoid robot in conjunction with one of Japan's national research organizations. It was developed in 2002 for performing artificial intelligence research. Standing 38 centimeters tall and weighing over 2 kilograms, the biped robot had more than a dozen processing chips and 130 sensors. Through this project, I'm always thinking about the difference between art and science. Sometimes I come across the phrase, the fusion of art and science, but personally, I believed that they will never fuse. Once, some people expected that the science approach to understanding the world through mathematics would one day unlock the secret of art. In reality, however, the present state of scientific advancement suggested that the human brain will be the final unknown for science. The more that achievement of science have accumulated in our lives, the more conspicuous the value of art has become. Recently, Kenichiro Mogi, an eminent brain scientist, described my designing as trying to accept a state that may be torn apart. Certainly, science and art try to pull everything in completely different directions. The driving force is overwhelmingly powerful, and when I do design, I always become a person with a split personality. The scientist and the artist inside me appear in turn and try to deny each other. Even so, there are moments when forms initiated from madness of art and the forms guided by rationality of science miraculously coincide. I feel that design happened during that moment. Lastly, I want to introduce two robots I made recently. The first robot is more of an art piece, and the second one, which I will show you later on, is a part experiment done for the engineering study. Ephyra is the robot I made for the Tokyo Fiber exhibition. In this exhibition, designers, architects, and companies demonstrated their creative power by suggesting new technologies in the Japanese fiber industry. The material I have chosen is very stretchy fiber called Lasher seamless wear. Both ends are stretched radically to form a shape of trumpet. And in the center there is a mechanism that moves 12 arms of air cylinder back and forth slowly. The tip of each arm is fitted with sensors so that when someone touches the tip, it quickly moves itself back, just like a snail's tentacles. Ephyra is a scientific name given to the jellyfish's baby. My Ephyra is a simple simulator of the reaction of such primitive creatures. Usually in such exhibitions, there are so many tags telling, do not touch, don't touch everywhere. But in front of Ephyra, we wrote simply, touch me. Thank you. Well, I would like to introduce you experimental transport engine robot Halluc II and the robot trainer Mariko.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's the nervous one, the robot or me? Okay, please welcome Halluc II. Okay, as you can see, Halluc II, he has 8 wheels. He's about 80 centimeters long, and he weighs only 20 kilo, which is less than half my weight. And and he can move sideways or twist and turn freely and in a very sensitive manner. So it'll be very easy to park in streets. Yes. And this project, Halluc started to question how the cars will be in the future, because in many cities, cars are starting to become useless because of the traffic jam, and not many people like cars, and there are projects that trying to get all the cars out of the city. And we are sort of doing an experiment to see how cars will turn in the future. And we made all the roads to give a chance for a car to drive, but we are thinking of having a car that suits the situation or the surface of the environment. Okay. For example, if there's like a bump, okay, Halluc II can go over the bump without changing its level. Thank you. Nobody likes bumpy road. And with the same manner, it can go up the slope without changing its level as well, which is good for when you travel to the hospital with a backache. Maybe that will be helpful. And if there's an obstacle in front, like this block, it can pick it up and take it somewhere else. We've only seen one mode out of 3 modes, which is the vehicle mode. And now we're going to the insect mode. Are you ready? Okay. We have 3 types of insect. This is the high one, and we'll see another 2 types. So it's not about cutting down trees and making roads, but changing the transportation itself to go over any road, basically, or not even a road. Yes. This is a little aggressive one. Okay. We're done? Okay, so we've seen 2 modes out of 3, and this is the last mode that we have, and it's called the beast mode, or as you like, animal mode. Each of its legs has 7 motors that, with this combination, it makes all these sensitive movements. Okay, this is the beast mode, and we have another mode that walks sideways. Okay, we've been seeing slow movement, so thank you very much. Applause to Halluc II.
Thank you. The trainer was Mariko Higaki. She is a design engineer of my design firm. And from the Future Robotics Technology Center, 2 engineers helped us, Yu Okumura and Midori Nomura. Finally, I would like to talk about the aim of design as a contact point between art and science. Neither science nor art set out to make people happy. Science can give us a great knowledge to fight against starvation and illness, but also give us the knowledge and skill to make weapons and fight against each other. Technology has made our life rich, but at the same time, it is spoiling the environment. Science leads us only to pure truth and shows the world's structure in an objective manner. How we use the science is up to us. So how about art? Art is not only about beauty and joy. It also expresses the madness inside humans. It sometimes reflects our worries, fears, and even desperation. A famous photographer once said, "No art is immoral." Art itself has no ethics. It can depend on how art is accepted in society. I'm not criticizing scientists and artists. I'm pretty sure many of them are wishing for peace in the world. What I'm trying to say is that the subject of science and art is not specified to bring happiness to people. And they are both pure and sublime because they do not aim to change the world. The purpose of design is very practical. In design, the aim is to make the user happy. In design, the aim is to make the user happy, to give profit to the manufacturer, and to receive acclaim from society. Therefore, to design is to make people happy, using techniques from great science and art. When I design, I always make sure to keep this in my mind. I'm not a scientist nor an artist. My design might be less important compared with the great science and great art, but I always make sure my design brings some happiness to you. Thank you.